out there, and played all 3 years, never missed a game.
All 3 years, never missed a game, so you played first base in college.
First base in college, and then I got drafted as a third baseman.
As a third baseman, so we're going to talk about that. But before we get into more of the athlete, I want to talk more about Luis Gonzalez, the man. So you're a family man. You're married. How long you been married to Christine?
Coming up 20 years this month.
20 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you guys, on that. That's a milestone.
For her and for me. For her more than me, because she's had to put up with a lot.
Well, yeah, and being an athlete's spouse is a very difficult challenge.
Absolutely.
I'd imagine. We were talking about that. Coach Charles is as big of a family man as he is. I mean, this guy sheds tears with his family, and he's also got a young daughter, and he's a firefighter, so he's oftentimes away for a while. And we were talking about the fact, like, how challenging it would be to be on a 10-game road trip, and your twin daughters have a dance recital, and your boy's got his first football game, and you can't be there for that. You know, those challenges.
Absolutely.
And you guys, as fans of professional sports, we don't really. We're kind of, what have you shown me lately? It's all about your performance on the field or court at that point in time. But you guys, we don't realize what, not only the athletes go through traveling city to city and low sleep and this and that, but the sacrifice that their families have to put up for their spouse to go out and be this professional athlete. I mean, that was probably one of the biggest challenges you faced as becoming a professional athlete, with balancing that, the name of the show is Lifeness, balancing that life with that business. What was the biggest challenge in doing that, Gonzo?
Yeah, and really, she is the backbone of our family, because, the first 10, 12 years of my career, or not my career, but when the kids were born, I was playing. So she had to play the mother role, the father role. Whenever I was home, I still had home games.
Yep, still had to work.
You go in at noon or 1 o'clock. I could do the morning chores, but, she still gave me, she understood that I had to get my rest and things like that, because, I was providing for the family. But at the same time, the tough part for me was when the kids were little. I'm on a road trip. I get that phone call. Oh, my God, Jacob was walking today, or Alyssa or Megan.
Yeah.
And, they were doing that. And you understand, being a firefighter, when you're on 24 and off, what is it, 48 or 72 hours, whatever? On 48, off 96. That's a lot. A lot happens in that 48 hours.
Absolutely. There used to be a show called 48 Hours. I mean, a lot can happen in 48 hours.
And even a normal person, a businessman, when you have to go, or if your wife has gone on a business trip and the dad has to stay home and play Mr. Mom, a lot of stuff happens in that short period of time. So there's a lot of things that, the benefits you have from playing professional sports, but there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that you miss out on. A lot, your kid's first little league game, or your daughter's first recital or play, or whatever it is, that, you look back at it and you're like, oh man, I missed all that stuff. So now I'm taking more of those opportunities now to do as much as I can. My kids drive now. We're
gonna talk about driving in the program that you put together with Sanderson Ford and that. But
even when they're driving, I still, even sometimes I could sense they don't want me to go, but I still go because I'm dad. I want to be there.
You want to be a part of it.
Okay, so you're 40 years old and dad's still showing up at your,
Doesn't matter. It's dad, and that's a proud dad. Now let's mention that you have three kids. And
triplets.
They're triplets. So talk about adding to the complication while you're on the road and Christine's at home. She's not just taking care of one kid. We got Charles in the studio here. He's got twins. We were talking about how difficult it was for him and his wife to take care of triplets.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have that 3-seat stroller. You got to have the big SUV to put the kids in. I mean, you got to have three extra bedrooms, 3 arms, 3 bottles, 3 everything. So Christine's taking care of the kids. You're being the man. I've got a 9-month-old baby, and I didn't get an opportunity to show you the video before you came in today, but I showed Dave last week that my daughter went through the infant swim survival class where they learn how to float.
They throw you in the water,
face first, fully clothed.
Yeah.
And the elation and the sheer emotion that I've got from that, and sharing that with Dave.
But the horror that you have when they throw them in,
Gonzo.
they make you leave the room.
Throw them in face first. And are they going to sink? Are they going to float?
Yeah.
I mean, is it? And they end up making it. But just the emotion that carries on with that, and having a little baby daughter. We were out to dinner last night and celebrating the fact that you were coming on the show today. And my little baby, I'm taking water from a straw in my glass and, put my finger on the top of the straw so it keeps the water in, and going and giving her some water. And by like the third time I pull the straw away, she was laughing like so incredibly, and she wanted more water, just like so excited. Yeah. And I think I want to share that on the show today, being a man, being a father, the things that come about. Because again, you guys got to remember, us as the public, we see Luis Gonzalez as a professional athlete, but he's a real person, you guys. He's a dad. He's a husband. He's a philanthropist. He gives back to the community. So I was having lunch with a friend of mine yesterday, Brandon Bunger. Said that he just built you a big old man cave at your house with Bunger steel.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In the back.
Yeah, in the back was talking about the man cave there. Born in Florida, went to Alabama. He's been all over, you guys. We're going to talk about his professional career. But Gonzo, being the person that you are, and I want to ask this question right here now, because this is the main question I wanted to ask you. Being in your position that you've had the fortune of getting to with your hard work and your dedication to sports, your job, our community. What's the biggest benefit? What's been the biggest effect, biggest change you've been able to make in kind of harnessing this celebrity status that you have to where you've been able to turn around and start some sort of an organization or make a donation, or, you sat down with one kid and talked to him and changed their life? Gonzo, what's the single most impactful thing that you've been able to gain from your notoriety that you've been able to give back to our community, to the state of Arizona? I
think it's the opportunity to have a platform from doing what I did, playing professional baseball, to go out there and help people. I mean, as a young kid, my mom was a school teacher. I saw her go through her struggles every single day when her and my dad got divorced and different things like that. And I was the little kid, too, that used to go to the ballpark and try to get autographs.
Just like these two boys do here at every baseball game they go to.
I was that kid. I was no different than anybody else. I was that kid where my parents sacrificed sometimes their paycheck to try to get me the shoes or the batting gloves or the bat or whatever it was. And I always, even when I was at the top of my game playing and an all-star level, I never took things for granted, and I always wanted people to know that, hey, I'm your next-door neighbor. I got to take the garbage out just like you do. My wife gets on me to help her with the dishes once in a while. I'm not a good dishwasher, but she'll get on me to do that stuff, and I still got to do it. I mean, I don't live in a glass box. I always made myself open to everybody. I mean, I'll go into Walmart or Target and different things just like everybody else. I'm not a Neiman Marcus guy or whatever. I mean, sure, we shop at those places, but sometimes I'm amazed that people go, "What are you doing here?" I mean, hey, I'm a normal guy just like everybody else.
Is it just basically the wow factor that comes from being you, that you can go and speak at a high school, or you can show up to a Little League baseball game, or you can get a baseball field donated in your name? Just the sheer effect that, and I think, you guys, this is the one part I also want to reiterate about Gonzo that's different than professional athletes. And we've been talking about professional athletes on the radio the last couple of months, and with all the black marks that they're given professional athletes. And for every one or two stories you hear about these bad guys, there's thousands of stories about the good guys like Gonzo. And you guys, he is a real guy. Anyone that you've ever spoken to that's ever met Gonzo or had the chance to hear him speak or be a part of him, he is that guy. He's the guy that walks into Walmart. He goes to Walmart to go buy a new CD when it comes out. I mean, this is a normal guy. So just giving back to the community in general, right? Just the I'm not going to say the power, but the influence that it affords you to have the effect in other people's lives.
Yeah, and I think the important thing for me is to try to reach the young kids, to let them know, hey, man, I didn't have a lot of stuff when I was a kid. Sometimes, you have to thank your mom and dad sometimes, or your grandparents or whoever, just to let them know, hey, Mom, Dad, I realize you guys work hard for everything that you do, because, now that I look back at it, I was blessed that my mom was a hard worker. Mm-hmm. My grandparents,
Shout out to mom. Shout out to all the moms out there.
Absolutely.
Without moms, we wouldn't be professional. I'm not a professional athlete. Gonzo wouldn't be a professional athlete without mom.
Yeah.
These two boys here wouldn't be striving to be a professional athlete without moms. Shout out to all the moms out there. Without you moms, we wouldn't be anything. Love moms.
Absolutely. And just think, when the boys, if you have boys, when times are in trouble and stuff, they always go to mom.
Go to mom. I was the same way.
In the family.
I was just go to mama.
Yep. So it's just an opportunity for me, for young kids, just to let them know, hey, I made it, but I had to work at it. Nothing was ever given to me. I wasn't the star player on the team. Tino was a star player on the team. I was the other guy. So but there's still opportunities for kids, and don't ever let anybody tell you can't do something. If you believe you can do it, you can do it. And that happened to me. I was always, oh, well, Tino's going to make it. Tino's going to make it. Well, yeah, he made it, but I made it to the big leagues before him.
Yep.
I played longer than him in the major leagues.
And I'd say was a better baseball player than Tino.
The only difference between me and him, he got to play for the Yankees and win 4 World Series titles.
I don't care. The Spankies, we're in Arizona. We don't care. We don't give that notoriety to the Spankies. But
it's great. When I go home now, people always look at me and go, man, I remember that kid when he was a little scrawny kid running around at the park and never wanted to go home because he wanted to be out there all day long and wanted to play and do all that. But, he made it, man. He made it, and he stayed for a long time. And that's the impact that you want to bring back to your community or wherever you're at, to show these kids, man, you got to work hard at it. You got to keep driving. Don't ever let anybody tell you can't do it. If you believe in your heart you can do it, you keep doing it.
I think that's the one thing we're going to take away from this show, you guys. And to hear it from someone like Luis Gonzalez's mouth. Sure, your parents have told you this, your uncle, your grandfather, your coach, your favorite teacher in school. Don't ever let someone tell you that you can't do it. And if they do that, use that as fuel to do it. I was the small guy, right? And you're too small, you're not fast enough, you're never going to make it. And I want to talk about opportunity, because you said the word opportunity a bunch. And Richard Branson defines, basically opportunity as, or luck, excuse me. He defines luck as taking advantage of an opportunity. Okay? And so you don't just get lucky. Sure, you can get lucky when you go buy a lottery ticket and you win the lottery. But luck is taking advantage of an opportunity. You had the opportunity when the scouts were coming to see Tino. You had been working really hard all the way up until that. There had been some people that told you, hey, Gonzo, you're not going to make it. Only one kid's getting drafted from our high school. It's going to be Tino. And you persevered through that. You fought through that and became the person that you are. So, you guys, if there's one takeaway from the show from Luis Gonzalez, don't ever let anyone ever tell you can't do it. Because if they're telling you, first off, they don't know what they're talking about. They're probably a negative person. You don't want them in their life. And again, use that for some fuel.
Yeah.
Remember that one person that told you you're not strong enough or fast enough or small enough. And when you get to the majors and you're on your press conference, say, hey, remember Jim Johnson? You told me I wasn't big enough or fast enough. I made it. Eat your crow.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that. Now, you're involved in tons of charities and organizations. You're spokesperson for lots of stuff. I think one thing I want to talk about is your program, the BAT program, right?
The baseball assistance team.
Baseball assistance team. And I want you to kind of talk about that, because this is an extra level of how you can use your notoriety and everything that you have to give back, and not give back just to our community, but also tie it back in with professional athletes. I want you to share a little bit about this program, because I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it's a a lot of time, the guys that make the millions of dollars, that's great. But the other kids, the minor league guys, the trainers,
$30,000 a year salary in the minors,
the trainers and different people like that. I've always been one of those guys. I think as a player, I paid more attention to the clubhouse kids and different people like that than I did the players, because as a player, we're all taken care of. When you get to the major leagues, you're getting tons of batting gloves, and these companies are sending you free stuff because they want you to wear their stuff, and the kids see it, and then they want to buy it and things like that. But I always looked out for the other person, because when I was a little kid, I was the other person.
You were that guy.
So I always took more time to get to know the other people, the clubhouse guys, the guy who opens the door every day, the guy who's in the parking lot pulling your car in for your family and different things like that. And when I had an opportunity to be on this baseball assistance team board, I jumped at it, because it was, now I have a voice or able to impact some of these other people that need it for medical, some financial, and it's not just, it's not the millionaire guys we're taking care of. It's the younger, generation guys that have had